Hi everyone, welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. If you like what we do and want to tip us, you can now do so directly to our PayPal. Check out the link in the description to this episode for more details. Even a couple dollars or euros will let us know that we are on the right track. And as always, you can subscribe to our Patreon where we share stories of life in Ukraine in times of war. My name is Artem, and here is the news. 235 days less the Russian invasion of Ukraine. In his evening video address, President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky informed that since the start of the grain initiative, Ukraine managed to export almost 8 million tons of food by sea. That's more than 300 ships. 60% of this volume was directed to Africa and Asia, stressed Zelensky. Volodymyr Zelensky said that the situation on the front line has not undergone significant changes over the past day. The key hotspots in Donbas are Soledar and Bakhmut, where extremely heavy fighting continues. The occupiers threw everyone they could against Ukrainian forces, including 2,000 convicts who are among the mercenaries there. They are kept at the front not only with money but also with the promise of amnesty. The president thanked those warriors who managed to take a lot of Russian prisoners. He emphasized that everyone who captures the Russian military provides Ukraine with the opportunity to release its heroes who are in a Russian captivity. Quote, "We remember our people detained in Russia. We must liberate them and we must liberate them all, leaving none to the enemy. But for this, we need to capture the occupiers, as many as possible." Unquote. The president called on Ukrainians to even more actively limit electricity consumption during peak hours from 5 to 11 p.m. due to the Russian missile terror. This will help to avoid blackouts, said Zelensky. For example, this Saturday, residents of the Chernihiv region limited their electricity consumption by 20%, and in general in the country on average by 10%. Kyiv and the region only by 7%. Please do more if you have the opportunity, said the president. According to the Washington Post, Iran is ready to transfer Russia not only drones but also surface-to-surface missiles for the war in Ukraine, reports Militarny. Anonymous representatives of the US security services and allies say that Iran arms industry is preparing the first batch of Fateh 110 and Zulfahan missiles, two of Iran's well-known short-range ballistic missiles, capable of hitting targets at distances of 300 and 700 kilometers respectively. If this agreement is carried out, it will be the first delivery of such missiles to Russia since the beginning of the war. In August, the same officials identified two types of Iranian drones, the Mojaher 6 and the Shahed 136, that Tehran had begun supplying to Russia for use in Ukraine. The officials pointed out that Iran is also preparing new deliveries of dozens of unmanned aerial vehicles to Russia. Israel's Minister of Diaspora Affairs, Nachman Shai, tweeted that his country should change its position on the Russian war in Ukraine, reports Ukrainska Pravda. He said that based on the information that Iran is transferring ballistic missiles to Russia, there is no longer any doubt about what position Israel should take in this bloody conflict. The minister stressed that this is time to provide Ukraine with military aid as the United States and NATO countries do. The General Staff of Ukraine informs that the enemy is shelling Ukrainian positions along the entire front line, carrying out engineering equipment of defensive positions and lines, and conducting aerial reconnaissance, reports Unian. Ukrainian forces managed to repel enemy attacks in 9 different areas of the Donetsk region. The Air Force carried out more than 30 strikes in the past 24 hours, hits 25 areas of concentration of weapons and military equipment, as well as 6 positions of the enemy anti-aircraft missile systems have been confirmed. Also, air defense units shot down 15 enemy unmanned aerial vehicles. Missile forces and artillery hit 2 control points, 1 anti-aircraft defense position, and 1 ammunition warehouse over the past day. Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Mahler informed that currently the ratio of losses of Ukrainian and Russian troops in the south of Ukraine is approximately 1 to 6.5, reports Radio Liberty. According to her, the critical limit of the loss ratio is 1 to 8, after which the enemy's army will psychologically fall apart. Ukrainian intelligence promised a $100,000 reward for captured Russian Igor Girkin, also known as Strelkov, reports Ukrainska Pravda. The intelligence agency said that one of the most famous Russian terrorists has decided to renew his participation in the war against Ukraine on the battlefield. Girkin is the former so-called Minister of Defense of the Donetsk People's Republic. The Security Service of Ukraine and the General Prosecutor's Office have filed a number of cases against Girkin for terrorist activities, torture, murder, and violation of the state's sovereignty. He was also declared internationally wanted by the Netherlands in the case of the downing of a civilian Boeing 777 flight MH17. Earlier, Ukrainian citizens collected $50,000 as a reward for the captured Girkin. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine.